Captain's Log. Stardate 151129. How's everyone doing this week? I'm doing great. I don't sound the best. Excuse me. I don't sound the best. I'm right on the very tail end of a bug, but that's enough about me. Well, I get a little bit more about me, but I'll tell it later. I'm doing okay for the most part. Let's jump right into the entry, shall we? This week's sponsor, our friends over at Rebel Customs, run by Chris and Jen Conley, living in good old Texas, in Yeehaw, Texas now. You can check them out, facebook.com/Rebel Customs LLC. REBELCUSTOMS LLC. Ladies and gentlemen, I made a change to the studio. You're not going to see me stand up every few minutes, which is a good thing. So yeah, let's get down to business. This week's first beverage of choice. It's a good one. Good one. I had it last week. Guinness Blonde American Lager. Guinness, of course, as you know, is out of Dublin, Ireland. But, this was bottled by Guinness Brewing Company in Latrobe, Pennsylvania. 5% alcohol by volume. The home away from home consumption device. Proper opening device. Probably wondering why I'm dressed like this. Well, it's after Thanksgiving. On Earth this past week, it was the week of Thanksgiving. Well, it's past that. Next week we'll move on, next week, actually starting Tuesday, Beer and Song of the Day, we'll be moving on to Christmas. So, in honor of the holidays, I'm wearing a Colts Ugly sweater, typically safe for the holiday season, which it is right now. Winter hat. Hey, you gotta do what you gotta do. Kapla! That's good. That's good. All right. Let's jump right into it. Let's jump right into birthdays. First birthday from the week. Dear friend of mine I knew from England. Travis Rowland. Hey, man. What's going on? How you doing? How's life treating you? Well, I know how life's treating you, but hope things are getting better for you. I know what's going on. I hope you're able to work through it. And if you need me for anything, hit me up. You know where to reach me. I drink to you, my friend. Next on the list, a lovely lady I have yet to meet in person. Excuse me. She is a Deep Space Nine fan. She's always, excuse me. She's always posting up good stuff, good Star Trek stuff. Sarah Kelly. Sarah, my dear, what's going on? How you doing? I haven't seen you posting up much lately. I hope everything's all right with you. Hey, Sarah, hit me up sometime. Happy birthday. If you don't drink, I'll drink one for you, and if you do, hoist a glass with me. Next on the list, guy I have just recently encountered on the old fart book. Colts fan like me, Brian Fry. Hey, did you see that game today? I did. And I'll touch more on the game later. I'll even touch more on the scores later. Brian, I hope things are going well for you. Hope you had a wonderful holiday. And hey, I drink to you. Next on the list, guy I work with over at Earth Station, Okinawa. Good dude, except he likes the cheaters for some reason. Corey Lewis. Hey, what up, dude? How's it going? How you doing? Hope things are going well for you over there. Hope work's not being too rough on you. Hey, cheers to you, my friend. Next on the list. Now, how cool of a name is this? Russell Automatic. Yo, Russell. What up, dude? What's going on? How's it going? How's life? Hope things are going well for you. Hope you had a good holiday and a good birthday. And hey, I'll drink to you. Next on the list, lovely lady I knew living in Germany. I want to say she's in Idaho now. Don't quote me on that. Could be wrong. Jennifer Keisley. Jennifer, my dear, How are you and Brian doing? And the girls. Hope everything's going well. I bet you guys are excited for The Force Awakens in December. I'm kind of looking forward to it. I'm going to go watch it, count the lens flares. It's a J.J. Abrams film. You know they're going to be there. But hey, Jennifer, happy birthday. I hope Brian spoiled you. Next on the list, my dear sweet cousin by marriage, the lovely Amanda Clevenger. Amanda, how you doing? How's life treating you? Hope things are going well for you. Hope the family took care of you on your birthday. Hey, you know what? If you drink with me. If not, I'll drink one for you. Next birthday on the list, gal I know here from back home, went to school with her actually. Heather Hetzner is how I knew her, but she goes by Heather King now. Heather, my dear, what's going on? How's life treating you? Hope you're doing well. Hope this finds you well. Hope things are working in your favor. Hey, if you don't partake, I'll partake one for you. And last but not least, this lovely lady I met at Earth Station, Okinawa. Little did we know that we were on a camping trip together. We were neighbors at the campsite. But hey, it is what it is. Ashley Bleeker. Ashley, how you doing? I hope things go well for you. I hope this doesn't find you too bad. I hope you had a good birthday. I hope you enjoyed the holidays. And hey, I drink to you. All right. Now these next 4 people I spent some time with this week. Excuse me. Some much needed time. First person, haven't seen you since Germany. I haven't seen you for 2 years. Dominika Jorgensen, living over in Ohio now. Dominika, thank you so much for coming out and spending the day with us yesterday. I loved it. I loved it. Oh, hey. You know what I mean. And Kyle Mattingly, my dear brother Kyle. It was just awesome to see you two yesterday. Kyle, I hope I get to see you again before I go, and I hope I get to see your lovely wife Miriam. It's been too long since I've seen the both of you together. Hey, we ought to have at least one of these. Excuse me. And the last 2. I'll get to that in football. The last 2 people, I actually went and spent the night with them as soon as I got back to Indiana from when I was spending time out at Abilene, Yeehaw, Texas. Excuse me. Josh Chenoweth, his lovely wife, Reba. You two are such awesome people. Thank you for taking my house commander and I in. Really appreciate it. It was fun to hang out with you guys. It was really fun to hang out with y'all. Hey, you know what? I'll drink to you. All right. Now, before I go any further, you know what time of the entry it is. You know exactly what time it is. It's time for football. It's time for me to talk this week's football picks. I've got them. You want them? Here they come. Let me pull them up real quick. Now, I'm going to do something a little different. Since most of the games have already played, I'm going to run down the scores from the games that have already played, as well as my picks. Eagles, Lions. Lions ended up winning that game 45-14. I called that one right. Panthers, Cowboys. I called this one right too, 33-14. I kind of saw the upset coming, but after that, about halfway through the second quarter, I was like, yeah, no way, it ain't gonna happen. Bears, Packers. I called the Packers on this one. I said the Packers were gonna win, but I was wrong. 17-13 Bears. That was a surprise. All right. Raiders, Titans. I predicted the Raiders to win, and the Raiders did win 24-21. Bills, Chiefs. I said the Bills were going to win this one, but I also said it could go either way. The Chiefs ended up winning this one 30-22. Buccaneers, Colts. I was at the game. A first home game ever been to. The Colts ended up beating the Buccaneers 25-12. I was glad for that one. I was happy for that one. Giants, Redskins. Now this one surprised me. Giants-Redskins. I predicted the Giants to win, but the Redskins came out 20-14. That was a shocker. Saints-Texans. I said it could go either way. I actually predicted the Saints to win, but the Texans ended up beating the pants off the Saints 24-6. Vikings-Falcons. I predicted the Vikings to win. I also said they need the win for a buffer to stay NFC North leaders. They pulled it off 20-10. Rams-Bengals. The Rams got spanked. The Bengals. I predicted the Bengals to win. After losing two straight, they were looking for redemption. They got it 31-7 over the Rams. Superchargers Jaguars. I called the Chargers to win. If the Jags would have won, the Chargers really do suck. Hey, this one's the game of the week over at Baron Song of the Day. And the Chargers did end up winning 31-25. Excuse me. Dolphins Jets. I predicted the Jets to win, no contest there. Cardinals over 38-20 Jets was that score. I'm jumping around here a little bit. I apologize. Let me see here. Cardinals 49ers. Where is that one at? All right, Cardinals 49ers. I predicted the Cardinals to win. The Cardinals did win 19-13. Seahawks over the Steelers. I predicted the Seahawks was going to win this one. I thought Big Ben was out, but apparently it looks like he might be now. 39-30 was that score. Cheaters Broncos. The Broncos are. I've got the Broncos predicted to win. I am expecting the upset, but this one could go either way. But then again, keep in mind it's a mile high. Some teams have trouble winning a mile high. And to round it off, Browns Ravens. I'm predicting the Ravens. This is a home field pick. It is also my toilet bowl for the week. Let's go into some miscellaneous Star Trek facts this week. On This Week in Trek History. November 24th, 1957, actress Denise Crosby was born. She played Tasha Yar in most of the first season and off and on throughout the rest of Star Trek The Next Generation. And she also played Commander Sela in about 5 episodes of The Next Generation. Lovely actress, turned 58. Ricardo Montalban, talking about Khan, Nooney, and Singh of the Prime Timeline. Ricardo Montalban in his fine Corinthian leather. Born November 25th, 1920. Sadly, he passed away January 14th, 2009. He would be 95 today. Actor Jeffrey Hunter. Born on November 25th, 1926. Sadly, he passed away at the much too young age of 42 on May 17th, 1969. If he were alive today, he'd be 89. And finally, Star Trek IV, The Voyage Home, premiered in the United States November 26th, 1986. Alrighty. I'm trying to keep this thing moving quick. I got a football game I want to go watch. Where am I at? Alright. This week's featured episode, The Ultimate Computer. Folks, that is a spoiler alert. The following segment contains spoilers for the featured episode. That being said, you have been warned. The Enterprise approaches Starbase 6, taking Commodore Robert Wesley aboard. Kirk and Spock speak with Wesley in the transporter room, who states that the Enterprise is to be the fox in the hunt. The ship is to be fitted with the M5 Multitronic computer, which Spock describes as the most ambitious computer complex created, capable of running an entire starship. Spock states that he knows this because he holds an A7 computer certification. The ship will be tested in a series of routine simulations, such as research and contact, navigational maneuvers, and a war game. If successful, this advance in technology would be as great as warp drive. Once the computer is installed, the ship's crew complement will be a mere 20 officers, to which Kirk is told to sit back and let the machine do the work. Excuse me. As the Enterprise departs the starbase, the M5 installation is being completed aboard the ship. Spock makes a quip about there not being a computer system in place to replace the starship surgeon. That'll come in handy later. Kirk, Spock, and McCoy enter the engine room and meet Dr. Daystrom, who states that Scotty won't let Daystrom hook the computer up to the ship's power systems without Kirk's direct orders. As the computer is hooked up, the ship's warp reactor spikes slightly, adapting to the M5 drawing power. Kirk and McCoy leave engineering, with Spock staying behind to observe and assist Daystrom as needed. Excuse me, like I said, I'm coming off a bug. To Spock to assist as needed. Where is that at? There it is. Kirk tells McCoy the M5 gives him a red alert right here, but also feels a fool would stand in the way of progress. McCoy suggests that Kirk thinks on the situation. On the bridge, Sulu makes a minor course adjustment, to which the M5 corrects. Spock notes the device is performed admirably, and further defends the M5 can do the same thing that a flesh and blood can do in regards to starship control. Chekhov announces the ship approaches Alpha Carinae 2. The M5 makes an approach, assumes a standard orbit, and puts together a landing party. Once in orbit, power goes out on decks 4 and 5. Kirk puts together a general survey party, which consists of himself, Dr. McCoy, astrobiologist Phillips, geologist Rollins, and science officer Spock, which differs from M5's recommendation for the party of Mr. Spock, Phillips, and geologist Carstairs. Kirk defends his choice of geologist Rollins as he's chief geologist, whereas Carstairs is an ensign with no experience. However, Carstairs has served on merchant marine freighters performing a mining survey of the planet years ago. Kirk and McCoy, according to the M5, are non-essential personnel. Scotty reports that the M5 has been the cause of the power shutdown all over the ship. In engineering, Daystrom states that the M5 was shutting down power to non-critical and unoccupied areas of the ship. Decks 4 and 5 consist of living quarters, which are unoccupied. Spock states the M5 is drawing more power than earlier, which is like the human body drawing more energy to walk or run, as opposed to standing still. Daystrom explains he designed the M5 to be adaptable with a new approach. Uhura calls the captain, stating a ship has been detected on a parallel course. Spock identifies the two ships as the USS Excalibur and Lexington. The Lexington states he's here. The Lexington states they're here on an unscheduled drill, to which the M5 acknowledges, goes to red alert, and sets the ship's weapons to minimal power. The Enterprise takes a hit as she changes course, targets the Lexington, and fires weapons, scoring 3 hits. The Enterprise changes course and goes after the Excalibur, scoring several direct hits. Once the two attacking ships stand down, the Enterprise returns to its original course. Wesley contacts Kirk and congratulates the M5 on a successful test, giving regards to a Captain Dunsel. Kirk leaves the bridge stunned as McCoy asks about the meaning of Dunsel. Spock states that Dunsel is a term that refers to a part that serves no purpose, used by midshipmen at the Academy. The M5 panel on Kirk's armrest begins beeping and flashing randomly. In Kirk's quarters, McCoy brings Kirk a Finnegan's Folly and toasts James T. Kirk, captain of the Enterprise, as opposed to Kirk's toast to Captain Dunsel. Uhura calls Kirk back to the bridge as a large, slow-moving vessel is detected. The M5 identifies it as the automated freighter Woden. The M5 suddenly powers up defensive systems and sets an intercept course. Kirk attempts to deactivate the M5 and give the ship a wide berth, but the panel doesn't function. Kirk sits helpless to disable the M5 as it fires photon torpedoes full power. The M5 resumes normal operations aboard the ship. Kirk and McCoy argue with Daystrom about the senseless destruction of the freighter. Kirk states the tests are over and goes to engineering to disable it, but is thrown aside by a force field. Excuse me. Scotty suggests pulling the plug directly as an ensign attempts to disconnect the power. M5 activates a power beam suddenly, tapping directly into the warp engines, which vaporizes the ensign. The M5 now has total control of the Enterprise. Spock recommends disrupting the power control system, placing a manual override into effect. Scotty and Spock in the Jeffries tube. What the hell was I thinking? While McCoy questions Daystrom for a solution. Daystrom likens the M5 to a child who is developing and learning. McCoy reports back to Kirk about his discussion with Daystrom with Daystrom's biographical tape. As Spock calls, stating that they're about ready to trip the override. Kirk, McCoy, and Daystrom arrive at the junction as Scotty trips the override. Kirk orders Sulu to plot a return course to the starbase, but Sulu calls back to Kirk, stating the ship still won't respond. Chekhov reports that one of the power banks reads dead, to which McCoy deduces that the M5 sent them on a wild goose chase. Before they can do anything else, Uhura reports that 4 Federation starships, led by the Lexington, are on approach. The battle fleet approaches the Enterprise, unaware of recent events. Uhura is unable to contact the Lexington, who hails Enterprise. As before, M5 acknowledges the signal, but this time targets the Lexington and fires phasers full power. M5 turns on the Excalibur, scoring a direct hit. M5 returns to the Lexington, scoring another hit. As the Hood and Potemkin move off, Wesley contacts Kirk, pleading with him to stop the attack. As the Excalibur attempts to move out of range, M5 disables her. The Potemkin then comes under attack. Daystrom explains he's imprinted his mental algorithms onto the M5 circuits, to which Kirk suggests Daystrom can talk to M5. Uhura puts up a message from Wesley to Starbase 6, stating that the only way to stop the Enterprise is to destroy her. While Daystrom attempts to talk down the M5, McCoy tells Kirk he thinks Daystrom may be on the verge of insanity. As Kirk states the M5 must be destroyed, Daystrom goes overboard, to which Spock puts him down with a neck pinch. As McCoy takes Daystrom to sickbay, Uhura reports that Wesley has received a response. He has been authorized to use any means to destroy the Enterprise. Kirk manages to talk down the M5, who shuts off power to every system, leaving itself vulnerable, as the battle fleet comes within range. Spock and Scotty get to engineering and report that the M5 is shut off, but power is coming back. Scotty states that shields and weapons will come back up before communications, so Kirk just orders complete power cut. Wesley questions what the Enterprise is doing. Taking a chance that Kirk isn't laying a trap, Wesley orders the fleet to stand down. McCoy reports Daystrom will have to be committed to a total rehabilitation institute. As Kirk, Spock, and McCoy discuss Commodore Wesley sparing their lives, the Enterprise returns to Starbase 6 to have the M5 removed, and the rest of their crew return to the ship. In a nutshell, as they would say. Let us go behind the scenes. Mathematician Lawrence N. Wolfe wrote the original story for this episode, which was based on his fascination with computers. However, it was emphasized that the M5 unit and its creator, Dr. Daystrom, had barely featured the Enterprise crew. It was heavily rewritten by D.C. Fontana, who focused the storyline around Kirk's fear of being replaced by a machine. This episode was a commentary on the American job losses caused by increased mechanization during the 1960s. Producer John Meredith Lucas bought Wolfe's unsolicited teleplay because it could be made fast and cheap using only the existing Enterprise sets and decided to direct the episode himself. The evocative music of George Dunning, composed for Metamorphosis, was reused when Kirk romanticizes about sailing on a tall ship. Barry Russo, who played Commodore Wesley in this episode, had previously portrayed Commander Giotto in The Devil in the Dark. Sean Morgan, who portrayed Harper in this episode, also played Brenner in Balance of Terror, and O'Neill in The Return of the Archons and The Tholian Web. James Doohan provided the voices of the M5 computer and the unseen Commodore Enright. 15 of the 20 crew members who stay aboard the Enterprise during the M5 exercise include Kirk, Spock, McCoy, Scott, Sulu, Chekhov, Uhura, Harper, Phillips, Rollins, Carstairs, Brent, Hadley, and Leslie. The 2 security guards who escort Daystrom from the bridge, and an unnamed nurse who appeared by Daystrom's bedside in sickbay. Commodore Wesley's high-back command chair appears to be the same one used on the ISS Enterprise in Mirror Mirror. Excuse me. Daystrom's scanning device, which he used to analyze the M5, resembles McCoy's medical scanner. It also resembles the one used in The Naked Time, when Scotty used it to point out the critical engineering wall circuits, and when Joe Tormolin used it on the surface of Psi 2000. A close-up of the 3 scanning heads on the Trident scanner in this episode seems to be a reuse of the disruptor weapons from A Taste of Armageddon. Excuse me. This is the second time Kirk tells McCoy he would like to be on a long sea voyage. The first time happened in Balance of Terror. Kirk recites the poem Sea Fever. He recites it again in Star Trek V, The Final Frontier. Quark paraphrases it in Little Green Men, and it appears on the USS Defiance dedication plaque. Spock mentions that there is nothing in the 23rd century computer technology to replace a starship's medical officer. By the 24th century, Federation starships are equipped with the emergency medical hologram technology. See? Told you. Spock describes M5's diversionary tactics as pursuing a wild goose. In The Gamesters of Triskelion, after McCoy calls Spock's search for Kirk, Uhura, and Chekhov a wild goose chase, Spock retorts that he was not chasing some wild aquatic fowl. In the Menagerie Part 1 and Part 2, General Order 7 was the only Starfleet directive which included the death penalty. M5 states that the penalty for murder is also death. However, its remark that murder was contrary to the laws of God and man suggests that it might be referring to its, and perhaps Daystром's, interpretation of what the punishment for murder should be, rather than Federation law. This is the fourth time Kirk talks a computer to death. He used this skill in The Changeling, The Return of the Archons, and I, Mud. Alpha Carinae, whose second planet was scheduled for exploration by the scientific survey team, is better known as Canopus. And The Ultimate Computer Affair was an episode of The Man from U.N.C.L.E. in 1965. Roger C. Carmel was a guest star. And folks, that is all the information I have this week for you about a featured episode. Holy crap, I made good time. Let's take it home. It's dead, Jim. Hey, I got time to go and watch my game. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to thank you all for giving me your time and paying attention to this entry of Prosper. This was a very quick one, but still, I appreciate your time no matter how you watch me, be it on YouTube, Facebook, or if you use your phone, computer, iPad. However you watch me, I thank you very much for your dedication. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to make like the Enterprise and warp out. Everybody take care. Have an awesome night or day. Don't do anything I wouldn't do, and if you do, name it after me. Don't drink and drive because you might spill your drink, but more importantly, you might kill yourself or someone else. And drinking and driving is dumber than being a Twilight fan. And what's worse than that is rooting for cheating bastards like Tom. Giselle won't let me go to the Pro Bowl, and they all pissed me off, so I'm going to beat the pants off them, and I'm going to cheat again, but nobody knows how or when I'm going to do it. Brady, men slapping women, racism, animal abuse, fake friends, people who welch on bets, or anyone who is a member of, supports, or defends ISIS or the Westboro Baptist Church, who tried to picket Leonard Nimoy's funeral, but couldn't find it. Things like that are highly illogical, and I will not make time for them. Ladies and gentlemen, as always, I wish you all live long and prosper.